I can't sleep. Forgive me. I took a shower. I was in bed. I didn't plan on anybody seeing me. I have no makeup on. And I don't care. The Mandela effect for me has been around since before I knew it was called the Mandela effect. And it started with the Lindbergh baby. In my reality, the Lindbergh baby was never found. And I remember watching something on the History Channel and I thought, wow, that's really strange because maybe, I'm wrong and then it was, more and more things like Shirley Temple. I remember her being dead at a young age. And then, of course, Mandela. I actually remember Mandela dying in like 88 or 89 in prison. So I became aware that it was called the Mandela effect when I looked up the Berenstain Bears. And it was because I found a book and I'm like, that's not right. And that's how I found the Mandela effect, probably 3 years ago. But this is beyond, oh my God, the capacity for me to grasp in my mind. It's hitting home because it's my husband. And it's unbelievable. I can't sleep. When I was growing up in school, Pangea was not the norm. It was a theory. Continental drift theory was a theory, but it was not taught in schools. I graduated in 97. So in the 90s, it still was being talked about, but it definitely was not accepted. Continental drift theory was just still a theory, and it was not mainstream at all, Now, my husband graduated in 91. So it definitely wasn't there for him and his generation. And if you haven't looked this up and if you're not aware of that and you're from, the understanding that it was not taught in like the 90s and the 80s, it actually was accepted now, if you look it up, in 1960. So it's being taught in public school since 1960. So we were just laying in bed and my husband, just like your husband or your wife, they tend to tell the same stories. Well, my husband vividly tells this story in my memory of him sitting in class and somebody who was maybe, not the most capable student. Maybe they weren't, putting their most forward. And he was maybe like a pot smoker, it's whatever that age. So a pot smoker, and he wasn't the brightest, and he really didn't contribute much to the class. And he literally said, well, it looks like that one and that one fit together. Could that be? I remember my husband telling this story about how the teacher said, no, she kind of made fun of him, and they all kind of made fun of him, and they laughed a little bit about it, and then, that was it, because we've talked about how Pangea now is accepted. And he tells this story, he's told it a million times. For anybody that has a husband and a wife that tells the same stories, those stories. Well, tonight, for some reason, the story came up and he doesn't remember that. In fact, he has always been taught. He's always been taught that Pangea always existed. And I go, no, honey, you told this story. You've told it to me several times. And he goes, no, I've been taught that my whole life. It was called Continental drift, and he's serious. Well, what do I do with that memory? And where is my husband that used to tell me that story? That I remember, like, so vividly. I mean, I remember, like, just within this last 9 months. What do I do with that? And does anybody else remember Pangea not being taught? It wasn't really fully accepted. Please respond. Respond down there. Tell me, please, because my heart is breaking tonight. I don't even want to go back to bed, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. Why? And does anybody have any explanation as to why this is happening, and why is it now hitting home, like on a personal level? I just can't. I'm ready for the rugged cross. I don't know if it's maybe it's biblical. I don't know. But I'm open to any ideas and theories. Thank you. Good night.